I opened up my sack lunch. I reached down, grabbed the sandwich, pulled it out. All of a sudden, Georgie, Porgy, Puddin' Pie kissed the girls and made them cry. When the boys came out to play, Georgie Porgy ran away. Ha 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 ha. You don't have to raise your hand, but how many in this room have been bullied? At school, at home, in the neighborhood, when you were a kid, when you were an adult, at your job. I want to take you back to when I was in second grade. I know. Sunset View Elementary School in San Diego. Lunchtime. Some of the kids had money and would go into the cafeteria and buy their lunch in the cafeteria and eat there. Kids like me would bring a paper sack lunch where my mom would pack a sandwich, apple or banana, and a bag of chips. That was it every day. And I sat down with that bag. A few of my friends outside the patio there, opened up the sack, pulled out the sandwich, and it was a banana and peanut butter sandwich. Oh, so good. For you, those that have never had a banana and peanut butter sandwich, try it when you get home. Oh, it is so. All you got to do, take a layer of bread, smear of peanut butter, slice a banana in half, put that on there, and then another white bread on top of that. Oh, it is so good. Well, I took half the sandwich, about ready to put it to my mouth, and all of a sudden, Tony Black comes up, looks me straight in the face, slaps the sandwich out of my hands, laughs, ha, 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 ha. Georgie, Porgy, Puddin' Pie kissed the girls and made them cry. When the boys came out to play, Georgie, Porgy ran away. Ha, ha, ha. And he pushed my buttons. He pushed my buttons. I cried. Oh, I cried. Oh, I cried. And seeing he accomplished what he set out to do, he went on to the next victim. I looked at my sandwich and lunch on the ground. A lot of my friends ran off because they were scared of Tony too. I picked up the sandwich, picked up the lunch, went over to the trash can and threw him in the trash can. Walked over to the sandbox and sat in the sandbox until the school bell rang. That's my counseling area. And thought, I haven't got any brothers and sisters. Haven't got any really good friends that I can talk to. My dad, well, my parents were going through the divorce at the time. Mom had her hands full, paying the bills, going through this divorce. And Dad really was never there. There was nobody to talk to. I was humiliated in front of my friends and scared and sad. I'd never been bullied before. I didn't know what to do. School bell rang. I went to class. Next day, same thing. Lunchtime, I had my sack lunch. Sat down the bench with a couple of friends still. Opened up the sack lunch, reach in, grab the sandwich. It was bologna sandwich. Opened up the wrapper, get the sandwich just about to my mouth when Tony Black walks in, looks at me, slaps the sandwich on the ground. Ha 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 ha! Georgie, Porgy, Puddin' Pie kissed the girls. He didn't even need to finish. I started crying right away. He accomplished what he did, set out to do, and went on to the next victim. I was so embarrassed. I looked down on the ground. There was my sandwich and lunch. I picked everything up, went over to the trash can, threw it in the trash. I was so mad. I walked over to the sandbox again and contemplated my embarrassment until the school bell rang. Well, this went on day after day after day for a full week. With a little 2-year-old, person in second grade, that's eternity. Well, by Friday came around, Mary's been watching this. Mary, she's in the grade upper, so she was in third grade. She lived a block up from my house, the Gillis family, a family of 8 kids. Since I was an only kid, I was up there all the time playing with them. And she walked out there and said, George, what are you doing this for? You can't let him humiliate you. Why are you crying? See me after school. We're walking home together. Okay? So after school, I met her at the lunch yard. We walked home together and we talked about it, what he does, and my mom and parents, and her mom and parents. And we talked about everything, had a good chat. Got home to her house and says, George, I'm going to toughen you up. Be here tomorrow morning. We're going to start right away. So I did. Next day, I met her in the front yard of their home. And she had a baseball and 2 mitts. So I got 1 mitt, she got the other. We started throwing baseballs back and forth. And she says, that's all you got? You're throwing like a girl. Throw harder. And throw harder. So we throw harder, back and forth, back and forth. She got a soccer ball out. We started kicking each other. We're even doing dodgeball back and forth. That's all you got? Throw it harder. Now, this is before the movie Rocky, but it could have been the prelude to Rocky. We were doing almost the same things. Running, we did run around the block. We couldn't cross the street. My mom wouldn't let me cross the street. But we ran around the block over and over all day long. All day Saturday we did this, all day Sunday. She would actually come up to my face and says, okay, don't cry. Georgie Porgy, puddin' pie, kissed the girls and made them cry. She's a girl. It's not the same, but I did it anyway. We did this exercise all day Sunday besides throwing balls, soccer, running all day long. Monday morning, she looked at me and said, okay, George, you're ready. When you go to the lunch and when Tony Black comes up, you stand up off the bench and you look at him straight in the eyes and with chin up. And when he says, Georgie Porgy, you don't cry at all. You don't say one word. Got it? Yes, sir. So when lunchtime came around, I opened my sack lunch, pulled out the sandwich, and it was a banana and peanut butter sandwich. I saw Tony coming out, so I quickly put it back in the sack. He came up to me, and he looked at me in the eyes and said, Georgie Porgy. And before he could get started, I got up off the bench, raised my shoulders, raised my chin, looked him straight in the eyes. And he said it. He said it very snarling, the best he could do. This is the best job ever. Georgie Porgy, puddin' pie, kissed the girls and made them cry. When the boys came out to play, Georgie Porgy ran away. Ha, 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 ha. I didn't cry. Oh, I wanted to cry, but I did not cry. He saw that he couldn't do it. You know what Tony did? Tony reached out his hand. We shook hands. He looked at me and he says, good job. He walked on to the next victim. Okay, continuing on with his menace. But that day afterwards, we were sort of friends. I heard he got moved to a disciplinarian elementary school. But that day I will never forget. That day I got confidence in myself. I manned up. I could face life's challenges. It's because of that day. Military, you name it, job interviews, you name it. Facing Jane Taft when asking for a budget. When facing with that, I dealt with situations. I could man up. I could feel confident about it. Thanks to Mary. I never knew what happened to her, but I appreciate her being my mentor at that time. I needed her. Getting there.